Hello, and welcome to another edition of One Bad Veggies Root Beer Review, where in this review, we go back to the start.
In the beginning, at the start, before all, there was a root beer, before all other root beers, the original.
What was that? So in this review, we will be reviewing what I go ahead and believe is going to be what the number one root beer that comes to your mind when you think of root beer. We're doing A&W. And that's we're gonna do it. So let's go ahead and get into the ingredients, which will pop up right here. And as you can see, the ingredients are basically the same ingredients that you see in just about every other kind of soda that, or any kind of root beer that I've done so far. You know, carbonated water, natural and artificial flavors, qualia, whatever, extract, the soapy stuff, sodium benzoate, things like that. The one thing I will say that I am pretty happy about is the fact that it's got sugar in it and it's not high fructose corn syrup. Although I have read that some companies will label something as sugar and still use high fructose corn syrup because high fructose corn syrup still is technically a sugar. So it's iffy or whether or not it actually is sugar or not. But however, in my experience, most of the time, bottled sodas such as these, which is the reason why I exclusively review bottled sodas, usually are use real sugar. I don't know if that's just a choice or not. Well, no, I know it's not. I know it has nothing to do with the actual bottling, because I definitely have had bottles of root beer that use high fructose corn syrup instead of sugar. Anyway, so yeah, here you go. The bottle, I mean, nothing crazy about it. Just using root beer barrels is kind of on top with their logo on top of it. Which, I mean, geez, you've seen my grading system. You know, you know that that's how I roll. So anyway, we're done with the ingredients. Let's go ahead, open it up and get us a little sniff. You know, with a root beer like this one, it's a little hard to kind of say anything new about it that people don't know, because out of all the root beers that I reviewed, I mean, there's a higher chance of you having drinking a can or gone to an A&W restaurant and had their root beer, you know? So like, what am I going to say about A&W root beer that people don't already know? I mean, this review is just there basically for historical purpose, for context, but let's go ahead. You know what? I'll tell you what, it definitely, you know, I always think of A&W as more of like a creamy root beer, but I will say, at least as far as the scent goes and stuff, it's actually kind of an excellent mixture of both of those things, or both the creamy and the rooty side of root beer. So, you know, with all things, you know, root beer tastes different in a can, in a plastic bottle, from a tap, from a bottle, from a glass bottle. So let's go ahead and get the pour in the foam. So we can get to the taste test, because I'm actually kind of interested now. You know, I've had a lot of A&W in my life, and I was actually expecting something a little bit more creamy from the scent. So I'm wondering how different could a last bottle version of A&W be. But first we got to get to the pour in the foam. So let's do that. So we live in a society where we know that A&W root beer is so closely associated with the frothy mug of root beer. In fact, that's one of their selling points at the restaurants, is that they serve you freshly made, frothy, delicious root beer. But let's see if it can do it here in a home. What can I say? Should I have expected anything less? I mean, A&W and frothy mugs. Can you name a better duo? Can you? I can't. Let's go ahead and get a sip of this foam before it dissipates. I will say it is creamy, but also nearly flavorless, which I don't have a problem with flavorless foam. A lot of foams are flavorless, especially in the case of a root beer like A&W, where there's nothing hiding inside of it, you know? This is root beer flavored root beer. I don't know how else to put it, you know? This is, you know, one of the standard bearers, you know? So I'm not shocked. Again, like I said, if there's usually some sort of like fancy herbs or spices or flavors or whatever, it gets hidden inside of the foam. In this case, there's no real super hidden flavors. Like I said, it's a little bit creamy, a little vanilla, but otherwise mostly flavorless, which is better than bitter for sure. So yeah, let's go ahead and I guess taste test A&W root beer. Here we go. Bottoms up. So this is a interesting, very interesting. Real sugar. Okay. Definitely changes how I think of A&W to taste, right? Like I said, I normally think of A&W as a very vanilla heavy, not overly so, but you know, it's not a vanilla root beer, but it's definitely on the sweeter side. It's definitely on the creamier side. This, however, it's interesting. So the flavor that hits you first is definitely the herbs and spices. It's definitely that normal root beer flavor, that kind of sarsaparilla, that rooty flavor, right? That definitely hits you at first. However, the aftertaste is creamy, vanilla. It's surprising to me because I thought this was just going to end up being like a very sweet root beer. Just like it'd be like, yeah, okay, I give it a C or a B or something like that. But it's a little bit more complicated than that. It's a little bit more complex than I expected it to be. I really didn't expect it to be as rooty as it is. And you know, like that isn't always my favorite thing. However, it is kind of a unique experience with I guess the only things I can really blame it on, I don't know what kind of if they use a different formula or something. I mean, obviously they use a little bit of a different formula because it has real sugar in it, but you know, like I said, the differences between stuff that's in a can, that's in a tap, that's in a plastic bottle, that's in a glass bottle, always changes the flavor of these sodas so much. Not just root beer, but all sodas. Like, you know, a bottle of Coca-Cola, a glass bottle of Coca-Cola is far superior to drinking out of a can or from anywhere, honestly. You know, and that's another reason why I primarily only drink root beer from glass bottles for review. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and sit with this for a second, and we'll come back with a letter grade. So my initial first drink of the A&W. I'll say it was kind of shocking because, like I said, the first thing you taste is the anise, rooty, herbally flavors of root beer. However, extremely mild, almost, I don't want to say flavorless, like the foam, but it's so timid. I thought that was really interesting. As I drank more of it, the flavor kind of stuck, I guess you could say, a little bit more with each drink after that. So definitely got stronger and stronger as it went on. Now, normally I would complain about those flavors getting stronger and stronger and stronger, but also on the side, the aftertaste after every drink was a creamy vanilla flavor. So it kind of, like every drink, it kind of redeems itself. Now, that being said, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to get like a super high grade or anything like that. In fact, I'm going to give it a C because, you know, it's totally fine. It's good. It's A&W. Like, I don't know anyone who's out there expecting me to be like, no, A&W is an A or a B. You know, that's not what was going to happen to begin with. Like, A&W, if anything, is a C grade root beer because it is just standard. There's nothing extremely special about it. I will say, of other brands of root beer that you can just go and buy off the shelf, like your mugs, like your Barks, stuff like that. I will say that of the major players in the root beer game, A&W is the best in my opinion. Now I watch, I'm gonna go back and look at the Barks root beer review and see that I gave it like a B or something like that. But you get my point. You get my point. Like, in the end, what happens after you drink it is you taste everything that you're supposed to taste in root beer. Nothing more, nothing less. And so that's why I give it a C. So yeah, C. And that's it for this review. If you liked it, go ahead and comment and subscribe. And I see your comments, people who comment. I just forget to respond back and heart them. But I see you. I see you out there, people. Anyway, that's it for this one. No other news other than that. So I guess that's it. So I hope you had a good time.